linebacker throws. There's a long pass. It's going to be, I believe, the Giants come to pivot. The Giants come to pivot. The Giants
Over to
come to
right
pivot.
field, scoring miles ahead of him. It's number 12 for Mandel in World Series.
Action. There's a high drive. It's a deep right. And forget about it. It is gone. The ball game's over.
In the Los Angeles Bulls. Watson hits it high in the air. For the center fielder, Ken Landreau, this should do it. The Dodgers are the 1981 champions of baseball.
Sees that number today with 3 hits. This could be 4. Back it goes. It's over. The Red Sox win, and they're moving on up.
Put his team ahead. The Dodgers, who hit 118 home runs during the regular year, have just hit their 16th home run of the championship series.
What's up, guys, and welcome to another episode of Between the Lines. I'm your host, Tanner Kern, and this show is dedicated to all things baseball. Now, I have a great show for you tonight, but before we get into that, I just want to say one thing. Happy opening week. We are 2 sleeps away from the first pitch of the 2021 Major League Baseball being thrown. I am so excited, guys. It's going to be an amazing year. We have 162 games. We have playoffs. We have a normal schedule. We have fans in the stands. None of this 60-game bull crap. None of these expanded playoffs. Well, that would be pretty cool. I hope they implement that in the coming years. But we are back, 162 games. We got fans. Normalcy is returning. It's so exciting, guys. And I'm going to be covering it all on Between the Lines for the entire season. So thank you for joining me tonight. Happy Tuesday. We are going to be talking about the American and National League Central divisions tonight. We're also going to be talking about some over-unders. My favorite over-unders this year, hits, home run totals for some players. I'm going to pick my World Series champion. It's probably going to come as a surprise to some people. And then we're going to get into the Frankie Lindor contract news, if there is any news. It doesn't seem like they're going to get a deal done, and that is not going to be a good look for New York this season. So let's get into the show. We're going to start with the American League Central division tonight. Now, this is a very top-heavy division. The Twins, the White Sox, and the Indians. This is anyone's division to win at the top now, especially with Eloy Jimenez getting injured for Chicago. The Royals and Tigers, they're in a class of their own. They are not good. They cannot compete with these upper 3 teams. The Tigers are really in a class of their own. They suck. They are so much worse than the Royals. I know RotoChamp, first of all, shout out RotoChamp for the projections, supporting the show. The Tigers are going to be 6 games behind the Royals at the end of the season. I think that's likely. I think it could be even worse. I think the Royals could be better than that 73 win total, and I think the Tigers could be worse. We will see. But let's get into it. So the pretenders in the division, as I just said, the Tigers and the Royals, pretenders. Count them out right now. I know everyone has a chance on opening day. These guys don't. Neither of these teams are going to win, but the Royals are going to be very fun to watch this year. We'll get into them in a minute, but let's start with the Tigers because they are by far the worst team in the American League Central. So my biggest question with the Tigers is how does Robbie Grossman, Wilson Ramos, Nomar Mazara, and Renato Nunez help this team? These guys are all free agent additions in the offseason. Now, they replaced average with what they had last year. They had a very bad lineup, below average, I should say. And they moved these guys in. These guys are average hitters. Nobody stands out. I do like Robbie Grossman. I think Robbie Grossman could help them a lot at the top of the order. He's a 350 OBP guy. And if he does that, should be very helpful. Should be beneficial. Like I said, though, it's not going to matter. These guys suck. They can't do anything. But who knows? It might help them get above that 67 win total. But that's pushing it. These guys just aren't that good. But one thing Robbie Grossman is going to do to help the Tigers is work with Miggy Cabrera. Now, everyone knows Miggy Cabrera. He is a legend. He is a surefire Hall of Famer. 2-time MVP, 11-time All-Star, 7-time Silver Slugger. This guy has done so much for baseball. But the problem is, we all get over the hump someday. We all get over the hump, and Miggy's at his hump, but the problem is Detroit is paying him a lot of money to be over the hump. So he's still got to produce. I need to see Miggy do something this year. Now, adding Robbie Grossman at the top could help protect him in the 4 or 5 hole, wherever he ends up hitting. But he's got to be better than he was last season. He's got to be better than he was in 2019 or 2018. He has not really been good since 2017. That was his last All-Star season. We don't need an All-Star season out of Miggy. We just need average. We need to get on base. We need to take some walks and approach 20 home runs. If he could approach 20 home runs, it's a solid year for him. Now, this is a guy that used to hit 30, close to 40. So he's definitely gone downhill, but I need to see something out of Miggy Cabrera this season. Now, Casey Mize in the starting rotation. This is a guy that you want to watch out for. Casey Mize is a guy that Detroit is going to build their team around for years. Detroit is going to need to rebuild. They're just not there. But Casey Mize is a guy that's going to be here for the long haul. He was a first-round pick in 2018. He wasn't ready for the show last year. I mean, they brought him up, but it did not pay off. He had a 6.99 ERA in 28 innings of work. So for all you non-baseball fans, if there are any watching this, that means he gave up 6.99 earned runs per 9 innings. So that's not very good. That's not good at all. He was a first-round pick in 2018. He's got to be better than that. Does he pitch like a first-rounder this year? I don't know. I don't think he will yet, but I want to see improvement. I want to see better than a 6.99 ERA. I want to see him come in and shut batters down and say, okay, listen, I'm a 2018 first-round draft pick. Watch out. This is my mound. Take the ball. Take the game over. Will we see that? Who knows? But definitely I'm rooting for the kid. Now, A.J. Hinch, what does he bring to this team as a new manager? He is brand new to the team. As we all know, A.J. Hinch, he is a cheater. He loves to cheat. I know I pick on the Astros a lot, but this could be the story of triumph. This could be retribution. This could be A.J. Hinch taking a team that can barely field a ground ball or hit the ball and bringing them to a World Series team in the coming seasons. Not next year, not the next year, maybe 5-6 years down the road. But A.J. Hinch is a really good manager. I know I pick on him a lot for the cheating scandal, and he deserves to be picked on. Don't get me wrong. I'm not giving him any sympathy here. But A.J. Hinch knows how to motivate young players, and that is what Detroit needs right now. Watch out for A.J. Hinch. He could be manager of the year in the coming seasons. I'm not saying next year because I don't think the Detroit Tigers are going to do enough in the division. But in the next 2023, 2024, look for A.J. Hinch to maybe generate a manager of the year award. I'm that high on this guy, even though he is a cheater. So let's move on so I stop picking on the Astros. So then you got the Royals. Now, I know I talk about how baseball has not been fun a lot, or how the Rob Manfred has tried to not make baseball fun anymore. The Royals are making baseball fun again. Okay, this team is not very good. Not very good in the sense of, okay, we're going to make the playoffs and win a division and, make a run in the postseason. This team is okay. They're average. They're not good in this division, though. But the one thing I can say about the Royals, the future is bright, and these guys love to have fun. They love being around each other, and they love playing this game of baseball that we all love. I love watching the Royals. I got to watch them a lot on MLB TV this year for spring training. I'm going to continue to watch them a lot when we get into 162 games. But these guys are fun. They love to play baseball, and that's fun to see as a fan. So my question for them is, what are you going to get out of Michael Taylor, Andrew Benintendi, and Carlos Santana? Those are 3 guys they picked up in the offseason. They all should add a little pop to the order. I think Benintendi could have a career revival in Kansas City. Now, he wasn't great towards the end of his career in Boston. He made his name a little earlier, but I think he gets back up. I think he gets back on the horse this year. I think he has a really solid year in the 2-hole. I believe that's where they're planning on batting him, but look out for Andrew Benintendi and look out for Taylor and Santana as well. You got veterans there like Salvador Perez, 6-time All-Star, 5-time Gold Glove. He's a guy that these young guys are going to lean on because he has been the face of Kansas City for so long. He just signed a 4-year, $82 million deal, which I'm so happy about to see him get that because he has taken team-friendly deals his whole career there, and now he is a super high-paid catcher. Now, he's 31, I believe. So that 4 years, he might not be catching in 4 years. He might be playing first base. He might be DHing, but this is a token of appreciation for him, and he still has a lot of pop left in his bat. So look for Perez to have a huge year. Last thing about the Royals. When does Bobby Witt Jr. get called up to the show? Bobby Witt Jr., he's only 20 years old. He's the 7th ranked prospect in baseball. I know you're probably thinking, 20 years old, you can't play in the major leagues. That doesn't happen much anymore, but Bobby Witt Jr.'s got what it takes. Let me tell you that. Bobby Witt Jr. can ball. In the spring, he hit 289. He had an on-base of 325, and he slugged 526 across 40 plate appearances. He also hit a couple bombs that were massive. Okay, this is a 20-year-old, but this kid can play. He is the shortstop of the future in Kansas City. I think he will come up to the big leagues by the end of the season, middle of the season maybe, and probably play the outfield to start. But this kid can play. He is a guy like Casey Mize in Detroit that is going to be the center of the franchise for years to come. All right? He is going to be the new Witt in Kansas City. I love Whit Merrifield, but Bobby Witt Jr., you're going to know about that Witt very, very soon in KC. So let's get to the top of the American League Central, the contenders. Now, this division's wide open in my mind after Eloy Jimenez injured himself in Chicago. He had the ruptured pectoral muscle in a game where he didn't need to rupture his pectoral muscle in an exhibition game. He hopped over the fence trying to rob a home run against the Oakland Athletics. And, elbow bent over, ruptured pectoral muscle, done for 4 to 5 months. That's really going to hurt them, but we'll get into that in a minute. Let's start with the Minnesota Twins. Now, I think the Twins are my favorite because they have won the division the past 2 seasons. Now, since they've won the division, you got to go with the favorite. You got to go with the favorite. You got to go with people that know how to win. The Twins know how to win right now. But this division's getting a lot better, and the Twins are pretty much staying stable. So if anyone can win the division this year, it could be the White Sox. It could be the Indians. Who knows? So with the Twins, I don't know if they have enough depth in their rotation. They really haven't gotten better in this area. Kenta Maeda and Jose Barrios are going to be guys that are solid. Maeda was receiving votes for the Cy Young last year. Jose Barrios, they're both guys that should have a mid-3 ERA. But Michael Pineda, J.A. Happ, and Matt Shoemaker, what are you going to get out of those guys? I don't know if they have enough in the tank. They're all 4-5 ERA guys to 5 ERA guys. Nobody has elite strikeout ability in that group. So pitching and defense win games. You hear it all the time. Do the Twins have it? I don't know. Does Josh Donaldson reestablish himself as the bringer of rain this year? Now, Josh Donaldson is a huge piece to the Twins' success. Last year, he was great when he was in the lineup. He was barely in the lineup. He is an MVP. He's a 2-time Silver Slugger. He hit 37 bombs in 2019. If he can bring 37 bombs, the bringer of rain can bring 37 bombs to the Minnesota Twins this year, they're going to be in good shape. They're going to be in very good shape. They're probably going to win the division. Now, if we get the Josh Donaldson of last year, who could barely stay healthy, granted he was in, but he didn't produce enough because he just didn't have the overall production and the amount of games. This is anyone's division now. But if the bringer of rain shows up and hits 37 bombs, Twins are going to the playoffs, baby. Let's go. Now the Indians. The Indians, what are they going to do without Francisco Lindor? It's a pretty tough hill to overcome. Francisco Lindor is one of the best shortstops in the game, and he is in New York arguing with Steve Cohen over his contract right now. We're going to get into that at the end of the show. Stay tuned for that. But these guys are a contender still. They just need to get past the, okay, what's next? Who's going to take over? Who's going to be the next Frankie Lindor? And I'm not saying you can replace Frankie Lindor because he's one of the best to ever put the glove on and play shortstop in this game. But who is going to take over? Who is going to be that next guy that leads Cleveland to the promised land? I don't know. Is it Shane Bieber on the mound? It could be. We'll see. So, but who steps up behind Bieber? You know you're going to get a lot for Bieber. There's Bieber in the corner there. But what are you going to get out of the rest of the rotation? That's a scary part of Cleveland because now they lost Lindor in the order. They lost that production of the bat. These pitchers got to be even better this year. You know, Bieber is a 3.2 ERA guy. He's probably going to have 240 strikeouts, and he's going to throw just under 200 innings this year. You can count on that. Zach Plesac, 4.3 ERA guy. He's going to have 150 strikeouts probably. Should throw 170 innings in that range. But what are you going to get out of Aaron Savali, Tristan McKenzie, Cal Quantrill? What are you going to get out of these guys? Can they do enough to send the Indians to the playoffs? I don't know. And I'm excited to see it. What pitcher steps up for them? Because for them to win this division, there needs to be a dark horse in that rotation that comes up and says, okay, I can pitch with Shane Bieber. I can pitch with Zach Plesac. I can be that third rotation guy that's going to give you consistent production. Do they have that? I don't know. I think they need to get someone in the offseason, but, too late now. So can Jose Ramirez repeat his 2020 numbers as well? That's a guy that you should keep an eye out for. Jose Ramirez hit 292. He had an on-base of 386, and he slugged 607 with 17 home runs in 58 games. Now, imagine if he could put that production together over 162. That would be ridiculous, first of all. But it is possible. So if Jose Ramirez can come back this year and do that in 2021, that'd be great. If he goes into a slump coming off a huge year last year, Indians are going to struggle offensively. And, without Lindor, Andres Jimenez is going to play shortstop right now. Ahmad Rosario, they took from New York. He is probably going to get moved to the outfield. He's not going to be the opening day starter, but he was a big-time prospect with the Mets, so keep an eye out for him. But Andres Gimenez is a young guy. He's 22 years old. He wants to be the next Frankie Lindor. Now, when he puts the gloves on and he gets in the batter's box, he can't think like that. He's just got to be himself. But you know, as a 22-year-old, you're taking a spot over that was Frankie Lindor's, one of the best to ever do it. You're going to feel some pressure there. So if he can hit like he has hit in the spring, he hit 333 during spring training, should be a solid replacement. It's not Frankie Lindor, but again, the Indians are built for years to come. They just got to make steps forward this year. And if a few things go their way, they could win this division. Especially with the injury to Eloy Jimenez in Washington. Now that's Tim Anderson up in the corner. Tim Anderson is a phenomenal player. The White Sox are loaded, but Eloy Jimenez is a big-time injury. How are they going to get over this? How are they going to move past an Eloy Jimenez injury? He had a ruptured pectoral muscle. That sounds like it hurts really bad. I've never ruptured my pec. I've maybe strained my pec. I don't know. I used to lift weights a little bit when I played football, but I don't know if Eloy Jimenez can be replaced. He can't. They're losing 40 home runs with his bat. Losing 40 home runs. Imagine saying, hey, I'm taking 40 home runs away from the Dodgers. I'm taking 40 home runs away from the Yankees. Well, maybe those teams could recover because they got some hitters. But 40 home runs is a significant amount of production. And it just disappeared. It disappeared in one play where Eloy Jimenez hopped over the fence and tried to be a hero. Now, got to give him credit. He's playing hard, but it just didn't need to be done in spring training. It didn't need to happen, and it's a damn shame because I wanted to see this guy hit over 162 games. He has never played a full 162-game season. Came up in 2019. I mean, he was amazing. Then 2020, he had a really great year. He hit 296. He had a 332 OBP, and he hit 14 home runs last season. But this was going to be the first time we saw Eloy Jimenez play 162 games, and now it's ruined. He might get back for the end of the season if the White Sox are still in the race. If the White Sox are in the race, don't expect them to bring him back because this is a young up-and-comer that's going to help them for years. And then you got Luis Robert. He's really going to have to carry the load that Eloy Jimenez left when he got injured. Luis Robert, if he can hit like he did in early 2020, he's going to be very good this year. His numbers dropped he hit 136 in the final third of the year. I know it wasn't a long season, but think about it. If we're going 162 games, you're going to add another 102 games off what they had last season. Okay? So if he slumped for 20 games in the scheme of 162, that's not bad because he did get back on track in the playoffs. Now, he had a 302 OBP, he still finished with that, and he finished second in the Rookie of the Year voting, and he was a Gold Glove. So this is a guy that has a lot of juice, a lot of stuff he brings to the table, but his bat needs to come alive now with a guy like Eloy Jimenez watching the games from home on the MLB app. Shout out MLB TV, watching out of market games, pretty damn cool. Okay, Tony La Russa. That's my question for them. Tony La Russa. Can this guy stay sober to coach a season? Now, that was a low blow. I shouldn't do that for a Hall of Famer. But Tony La Russa, he just had the DUI in the offseason before he was officially a Chicago White Sox manager, I believe. This is not his first time, but I love Tony La Russa. He's a 3-time World Series champ, 4-time manager of the year. He's a Hall of Famer. I think this guy brings a lot of grit to this team, but again, he's 76 years old. Like, let me think who I know. Maybe my grandparents, 76 years old. I don't think they could have coached a Major League Baseball team at 76. So we'll see how Tony La Russa does. I don't know if he'll have the same success, but he's inheriting a great team with the White Sox. So, watch out for the White Sox. I am going to go with the Minnesota Twins to win this division. I think the injury to Eloy Jimenez is going to throw this team off, and I just think there's too many variables without him. I know one player doesn't make a team, but you're losing 40 home runs. And the White Sox were poised for a huge season, and now this is just deflating for them. I'm going to go with the Minnesota Twins, followed by the White Sox. I think both teams will get into the postseason, want to win the division, one will get a wild card spot, but this is really anyone's division. It's too early to tell, but rolling with the Twins, Twin Cities, baby, Minnesota, let's go. So now let's get into the NL Central. Now I have a lot of friends, a lot of buddies who like the Cardinals, a lot of Midwest guys. Sorry to break it to you. I'm going to be a little mean to the NL Central tonight. And I don't want to be mean to the NL Central, but I'm not the only one. I'm not the only unbiased baseball journalist being disrespectful to the NL Central. This division's not good. There's no other way to describe it. This division's not good. Now I gotta take a sip of water before I get into this because I'm going to get passionate about the NL Central. The NL Central's bad. There's no other way to describe it. They're the winner of this division. Now these projections, courtesy of RotoChamp, obviously, they have the Brewers winning at 85 and 77, followed by the Cubs, Cardinals, Reds, and Pirates. I think this is a three-way race, really. You could call it a four-way race with the Reds. Pirates don't have a chance. Forget about them. They're worse than the Tigers. But the winner of this division could be under 500. And that's hard to fathom. The winner of this division could be under 500 this year. There are some people projecting that. I don't think it's going to happen. I do think the Brewers get to 85 wins. But to say that the first team in the division is a 525 team and then the rest are under 500, that's not good. That's just not good at all. So let's get into this. The pretenders. Now, if you hate me for putting the Reds as pretenders, I don't care. I don't think they have a lot. They have a lot to offer. I just don't think it's going to come to fruition this year. I don't think they're going to come together. But let's talk about the Pirates because they suck. We'll be quick on them. Ke'Bryan Hayes, can he stay healthy? He's 24 years old. He only played in 24 games last year. But when he was in, he hit 376 with 5 home runs. Look out for Ke'Bryan Hayes. He could be the Rookie of the Year. That's probably the only accolades that are going to go to a Pittsburgh Pirate this year. So look for him to have a big year. Followed by Gregory Polanco. What are you going to get out of him? He has been a beast over his career, but he has not played a full season since 2018. And even in 2018, he only played in 130 games. He was taking too many days off. I want to go back to the days of Mickey Mantle, Joe DiMaggio, Babe Ruth, where these guys played 500 games. They didn't give a shit. All right? I want to go back to those days. Gregory Polanco has not played a full season since 2018. He's a career 313 OBP. If he's healthy, he could hit about 20 home runs. I would like to see him hit 20 home runs. I really would. I don't think it's going to happen. I think this team is just done. I mean, the bad juju is already flying through the clubhouse. They ain't going to win a thing this year. And I'm sorry, Pirates fans, you guys have the most beautiful stadium in baseball. You just don't have a front office that wants to go win games. So I'm sorry about that. This is the worst team in a bad division. Their goal should be 2024, 2025. They got the first pick in the draft next year. They're going to take Jack Leiter out of Vanderbilt, or no, they're going to go with Jack Leiter. I mean, the kid's legit. They're going to Jack Leiter. They're going to build this team around him in the coming years, but they should really focus 2023, 2024, 2025. That's a solid year, Pittsburgh fans. If your team does the right thing in the offseason, in the front office for the next 3 seasons, this team could be something. But right now, they suck, period. Let's talk about the Reds. I do think the Reds are pretenders. I'm sorry. I think they're pretenders. I think losing Trevor Bauer, that's going to hurt them. Now, obviously, they're going to lose Trevor Bauer. They're not going to pay what the Dodgers paid, $102 million over 3 years in free agency. But I think last year was their year to win as much as they could. And they didn't make it happen because of guys like Mike Moustakas, Nick Castellanos, Eugenio Suarez, Nick Senzel, and Jesse Winker actually came alive. Who would have thought about that? Jesse Winker was their best hitter. But Mike Moustakas, Nick Castellanos, Eugenio Suarez, and Nick Senzel, they could not hit the damn ball last year. They're getting paid to hit the ball, and they could not do it. Now, granted, I know it was a 60-game season. I know there were a lot of slumps all over the league. But all 4 of these guys did not deliver. Jesse Winker. Did you even know the name Jesse Winker? I'm a baseball guy, and I would never guess Jesse Winker was going to be the best hitter. He hit 255, he had an OBP of 388, and he hit 12 bombs. You're telling me those numbers were going to be better than Mike Moustakas, Nick Castellanos, Eugenio Suarez, and Nick Senzel at the beginning of the season when they had a guy like Bauer in the rotation leading these guys to the promised land? I would have said you were crazy. But that's what happened. They didn't get the job done. I think last year was their year to win it. All those guys got to be better this year. Moustakas, Castellanos, Suarez, and Senzel, they all got to be better. Suarez is their biggest power hitter. He's a guy that should hit close to 40 home runs when he is healthy, when he is feeling good, when he is not slumping, which he did last year. So these guys need to get some slump busting done in the offseason. I hope they did a lot of slump busting because the Reds are going to be bad if they perform like they did last year. Now, a lot of guys slump, like I said, but I have confidence in a guy like Christian Yelich, who we're going to talk about in a minute, to get back to his normal self. I don't have confidence in these Reds because they had a team last year that was going to do something. They had the potential, and they did not deliver. When 4 guys don't deliver, I can't trust you again. So, who fills Trevor Bauer's shoes? Trevor Bauer's in LA. He's driving Bugattis and Maseratis on his YouTube channel. Go check those out. I love Trevor Bauer. But he is loving the LA life. He is no longer in Cincinnati. He don't care about small market Cincinnati anymore. Who's going to take his spot? Luis Castillo is the ace of this team, but who steps up behind him? Wade Miley, Sonny Gray, Tyler Mahle. I don't know who steps up behind him, but they need a few guys to become better than they were last year. They need guys to become Trevor Bauer. They need a few guys to get together, be better than average to make up for the loss of Trevor Bauer. That's what I'm trying to say. Because Trevor Bauer, he's unbelievable. He is an irreplaceable arm. They don't have a guy like Trevor Bauer, and it's going to show this year with the amount of runs they give up. Joey Votto is still playing, yes. He was the second place MVP in 2017, and he is still very, very good. But the question with Joey Votto is, does he still have anything left in the tank? Last year, he had a 354 OBP. Now, I know you're probably saying, I'm going to pick on him for having a 354 OBP. You're probably thinking, that's crazy. He got on 35.4% of the time. Well, here's the thing. Joey Votto is a career 419 OBP guy. We don't need the power from Joey Votto. We have plenty of guys that have power on this team. We got Moustakas, Castellanos, Suarez, Senzel. We got guys that can hit. Hell, even Winker, he hit 12 home runs last year. Who would have thought that? But we need Joey Votto to get on base for those guys to do their job. Joey Votto's job is to stay in the box, take pitches, get on base. Period. If he can do that, they're going to be okay. If he can't, and then that's going to lead to Moustakas, Castellanos, Suarez, Senzel having another slump. I just think it's 1 year too late, and that's why I'm putting them as the pretenders. Now, are they as much of a pretender as the Pittsburgh Pirates? No. Pittsburgh Pirates, I think a high school JV baseball team could beat these guys. But the Reds just aren't there yet. And I think their window's gone because I think they needed to win last year. Now they need to probably rebuild. The contenders. The Milwaukee Brewers, the Cardinals, and Cubs. Now keep in mind, these guys are contenders for the National League Central Division. They are not contenders in any way whatsoever to play for the National League pennant. Now that's going to belong to the Dodgers. That's going to belong to the Padres. Who else in the National League can be good? Mets, Braves. Yeah. You get what I'm saying. It's nobody in the National League Central. Nobody in the National League Central. So, with the National League Central, the Cubs they're okay. I think, they've kind of made baseball not fun for a lot of guys. You see Chris Bryant up here in the corner of your screen. Chris Bryant has said that he is no longer having fun playing baseball in Chicago. I know it's hard. That's saying something because Chicago is very nice. They have a lot of really good deep dish pizza, but Chris Bryant does not want to be there and play baseball anymore for millions and millions of dollars. So that's saying something. They have learned how to not make baseball fun there if Chris Bryant does not want to play in Chicago anymore. So anyways, put that aside. The Cubs starting rotation, they are all contact pitchers. Now, I know they got Kyle Hendricks. He's a guy, should have 150 strikeouts and 180 innings. That's not enough talent, though. Not enough talent. I know you got Jake Arrieta. Jake Arrieta is back from the World Series days in Chicago now, but Jake Arrieta is past his prime. Sorry. I don't want to hurt any feelings, but he's past his prime. These guys don't have a rotation that can strike people out. And you know what? That's okay. Kyle Hendricks has made a career off of that. But the problem is that doesn't win games long term, even in a division that sucks like this. You got a guy like Nolan Arenado, Paul Goldschmidt up in St. Louis just chomping at the bit for a little 92-mile-an-hour fastball right down the middle, which these guys are going to throw. They're going to make mistakes. They got to score runs to win. Now, Javi Baez is a guy that the Cubs need to lean on to win games this year. Javi Baez won the Gold Glove in 2020. And you know what? That's great. Defense wins championships, all that. But you got to put the ball. There's no pick sixes in baseball, okay? The defense cannot score runs for you. Javi Baez needs to hit the baseball this year. He hit 203 last season. He had 238 OBP. That is not good enough, Javi Baez. That's not good enough. I haven't swung a baseball bat since high school, and I think I could do that, Javi Baez. You got to be better than that, man. Are you kidding me? You kidding me? He's at 28 years old. 28 years old. You got to be better, man. You're in your prime. You got to be better than that. If Javi Baez performs this year, Cubs could be okay. I still don't think they're going to be good because they're contact pitchers, but could be okay. Now, if the Chicago Cubs get off to a very slow start, do not be surprised, Cubs fans, if Javi Baez, Chris Bryant, and Anthony Rizzo are traded at the deadline to get ready to rebuild, because all these players are on one-year deals. It doesn't seem like anyone's having fun playing baseball in Chicago anymore. So they could get rid of them to get some young prospects, and I don't think that's going to happen. I think the Cubs are going to be in the hunt at the trade deadline, obviously. I mean, it's a bad division. So they're going to be in there. They've offered Rizzo a 5-year, $70 million extension already. He has declined that. So this team, it looks like they're going to go to a rebuild. It looks like they're going to lose these players in the offseason. But they have one more year to make a statement. And is it going to be this year? No. The Cardinals. The Cardinals, baby. Nolan Arenado. He looks good in a Cardinals jersey. It's nice to see him win. Now, Nolan Arenado went to the Cardinals to win a championship. He wants to be on a championship caliber team. Is it the Cardinals this year? No, they're not ready to win a championship. But this is a team that could be great in years to come. So, pitching-wise, Jack Flaherty is the star. But who's next? Who's after Jack Flaherty? You got Adam Wainwright. He has been phenomenal in spring training. Who's after Adam Wainwright? Daniel Ponce-León, Carlos Martinez, John Gant. Yeah, they needed one more wing. All right, Wainwright and Flaherty can't carry this team. Flaherty's a beast. He's going to get Cy Young votes, but they needed one more wing. Wainwright's okay. He's been, what he's shown in spring training, he is going to be good this year. But Ponce-León, Martinez, Gant, I don't know. It could be a long year with them. Nolan Arenado, like I said before, is he going to win this year? I don't know, but he is a huge help to this team, and he is a huge help to some other guys. Nolan Arenado, 5-time All-Star, 4-time Silver Slugger, 8-time Gold Glove, 4-time Platinum Glove, the best glove in baseball, the Platinum Glove. Nolan Arenado's won it 4 times. That's insane. Now, he had a little down year in 2020. He wasn't great. Wasn't terrible. We're not talking down year like some of the other players that we talked about earlier. But he will add protection to this lineup. He will add power. He will add pop. I think he's happy in St. Louis. He seems like he's having fun. So he could help the Cardinals get to that next step, win the National League Central this year. But the biggest thing I think Arenado's going to do, he's going to protect a guy like Paul DeJong. Paul DeJong struggled last year. He hit 3 home runs in 45 games. Not good enough. Paul Goldschmidt, one of the best hitters of all time. And that's a pretty bold statement, but this guy has done massive numbers in the big leagues. Now, he's had a down power year. Last season, he hit 6 home runs. This is a guy that should hit in the high 30s this year. He's that good. And Nolan Arenado, they got to pitch to one of these guys now. So whether Arenado bats in front of Goldie or behind him, pitcher's got to pick your poison there. That's a pretty tough matchup. So I think the starting rotation is going to give up some runs, that back end of the starting rotation. But this is a lineup that has some power. They have some pop. If they come together, watch out, baby. Watch out. The Cardinals could surprise some people. But I am still picking the Milwaukee Brewers to win this division. And why, do you ask? Because that man right there. I love Christian Yelich. He's awesome. Great guy. Great ball player. Just signed a huge deal. He made $12.5 million last year. He deserved rookie minimum. Because that picture right there, that face he's making in that picture, flipping, that's not a home run flip right there. That's a strikeout flip. That's like, oh shit, like how am I going to hit the ball? I put that picture up because Yelich was awful last year. He hit 205. Now, he did have a decent power year. But the problem is you're paying Christian Yelich $12.5 million, whatever they gave him the massive extension the year before. You're paying this guy to do it all. Okay? You're paying this guy to hit close to 300, and he just can't do that. He's coming off a season, back-to-back seasons where he hit in the low 320s and a combined 80 home runs in 2018 and 2019. You're paying this guy to do it all. You're not paying him to strike out. He had a 30.5% strikeout rate last year, I believe. He's a 20% strikeout guy. A 10% jump in his strikeout rate is scary. It's alarming. But Yelich is a guy that's young. He's passionate. He's not going to accept that. He's not going to let it happen again this year, and he is going to make plays. He is going to be a $12 million player in Milwaukee. Count on it right now. So obviously, when you're going to add close to 40 home runs back to your lineup. It's going to help. Keston Hiura, this is a young guy. He's coming into his 3rd season. In his rookie year, he hit 303, 368, and 570. So he had 368 on base, batting average 303, and he slugged 570. Last season, he led the National League in strikeouts. Yeah, not like he's not a pitcher. He's a hitter. Led the National League in strikeouts, so that's not a good stat. He led the National League in strikeouts. He batted .212. He had an OBP of .297, and he had a slugging percentage of .410. Sophomore slump. That's what I attribute this to do. I think Hayura will be back this year. He will hit with Yelich, and this team will be good. Another addition to the team, Jackie Bradley Jr. at the bottom of the lineup. Bradley Jr. is going to come up big this year. I know he's not a great hitter. He's only like a career mid-200 hitter, 240 in that range. But he is an OBP guy. He gets on base. I think he's a career 315 on base guy. And he's going to bat in the bottom of the lineup. They're not asking him. They are not asking him to hit bombs. They're asking him to get on base so we can get up Christian Yelich. We can get up Keston Hayura. We can get up those guys that are going to be able to leave the yard on a consistent basis. So I really think he's going to help. And he's a great glove. He's a gold glover, former All-Star. He's going to help in the outfield. This outfield's solid. If you hit the ball, if you don't hit the ball out of the yard, these guys are probably going to catch it. They're that good. Now, rotation-wise, these guys are strong. Brandon Woodruff, Corbin Burns are going to lead the rotation. And then the bullpen, this is one of the best bullpens in baseball. And last year, they were exceptional. You got Josh Hader. Josh Hader is a guy, top 5 reliever in the game, no matter who you talk to. If you are putting a top 5 reliever list together and Josh Hader is not on it, I don't want to see it. He is a beast. But he wasn't even their best pitcher last year. There's a guy named Devin Williams. He won the Rookie of the Year. He had a .33 ERA. .33, not 3.33, a .33 ERA. He won the Rookie of the Year. He is a guy that will be a sophomore this year in Major League Baseball. I don't think he'll be as good. He's not going to be able to do a .33 ERA, but if he can pitch like he did, he is the next closer in Milwaukee. Okay, he's a young guy, and him and Josh Hader working together, that's dangerous, baby. That's dangerous, okay? So, in the end of the day, I'm picking the Brew Crew, baby. I'm on the Brew Crew side. These guys are winning the division. Will they win the National League pennant? No. Will they win a playoff series? Maybe. I don't know. We got to see how this goes. But if I'm picking a team to win the division, I'm picking the Brew Crew. I think the Cardinals could sneak above 500. I am high on the Cardinals. I just don't think. I think they got a few missing pieces in that rotation. But I am going with the Brew Crew to win in 2021. So let's get into some prop bets. This is my favorite part of the season, picking who's going to go over, who's going to go under, home runs wise, hits wise, strikeouts wise. So here's a few of my favorite. Now, shout out to William Hill for supporting the show. All these odds are courtesy of William Hill. So let's start with Pete Alonso 2021 regular season home run total. Now, he's got over 40.5, minus 115. Under 40.5 is also minus 115. He hit 53 home runs as a rookie. 53 home runs, guys. He hit 16 last year in a slump year. Pete Alonso could barely hit the ball. They were booing him in New York, and they weren't even at the game. They were booing him through the TV set, and you heard it, okay? Pete Alonso could not hit the ball last year, but he still, when he wasn't confident, hit 16 home runs in a 60-game season, which equates to 43.2 over the season. Pete Alonso's back this year, baby. He's going back to the top. He's a power guy. Whether he hits for average or not, who cares? He is mashing balls out of Citi Field and the rest of the NLE stadiums. Lock it up, over 40.5. JD Martinez. Now, he averages his career average for home runs is 34 per season. Now, he is listed at 30.5 for the over and then 30.5 for the under. JD Martinez could not hit the ball last year again. That's a recurring theme for a lot of these stars from the 60-game season. He hit 43 bombs in 2018, 36 in 2019, okay? Over 30.5. I don't know. What do you think? What do you guys think? Let me know. Let me know in the comments below. But I'm going to go with over 30.5 bombs. I think the Red Sox have an above-average American League lineup. That's going to help protect him a little bit. JD Martinez has got 31 home runs in the bat. I mean, the bat didn't do anything for him last year, so it still should have some pop left. Lock it up, over 30.5. JD Martinez, shout out William Hill. Vladdy Jr., baby. Under 27.5 home runs is listed at minus 15. minus 115. Over 27.5 home runs is also listed at minus 115 on the William Hill Sportsbook. He hit 15 home runs in 2019. Solid. He hit 9 in 2020. That equates to 24.3. Everyone's like, oh, Vladdy lost a bunch of weight. Vladdy looks great. Yes, Vladdy looks great. I'm a guy that lost 140 pounds. I know how hard that is to do. I think he lost like 30 or 40 pounds. That's hard to do. And he's going to play better this year. But does that mean that he's going to hit the ball out of the yard more? Maybe. Maybe it does. Does that mean that his swing path is going to change? I don't think so. Vladdy has a 6.7 degree launch angle. In 2019, he was 368 out of 398 hitters with 100 plate appearances as far as how big his launch angle is. Okay? A 6.7 launch angle does not equate to balls consistently leaving the yard. Now, one thing about Vladdy is he has a hard hit percentage. He's one of the top players in the league in hard hit percentages. So he's going to hit some line drive shots out of the yard. But to get the ball up in the solar system, whatever, the jet stream, Vladdy is not going to be able to do it with a 6.7 launch angle on a consistent basis. Under 27.5, lock it up for Vladdy Jr. Shout out, William Hill Sportsbook. Tatis Jr., another junior. 165.5 hits. He's listed at minus 115 for the over, minus 115 for the under. Tatis is the reason that Frankie Lindor wants a lot of money, okay? Francis, we're going to get into that in a couple more prop bets. But Tatis Jr. is getting paid a lot of money. The thing about Tatis is if you guys do remember back when he signed the big deal, everyone's complaint was, this guy hasn't played 162 games. No, he has not. He has not played 162 games yet. He has already gotten hurt in spring training. He hurt his non-throwing shoulder on a routine ground ball. I mean, like, that's hard to do, I think. I think it is. I don't know. But hurting your non-throwing shoulder on a routine ground ball. So, another thing. Tatis is sliding into home plate in a spring training game headfirst. He should be fine for that because he's getting paid so much money. This guy's reckless, and that's good. I love watching reckless ball players because they're young. It's a guy like, look at Bryce Harper. Bryce Harper had a bunch of injuries early in his career, and now he does not have as many injuries. We barely hear about Bryce Harper getting hurt. Tatis is going to get hurt this year. I don't think he's going to make it 162 games, and that is going to keep him under 165.5. Shout out, William Hill Sportsbook. Under 165.5. In 2019, he had 106 hits. He's just sitting there. I think he needs one more year for me to really say, okay, this guy's going to go over. I want to see him play more. Until then, you go with what you know. Finally, Mike Trout total hits. Over 149.5, under 149.5. They're both listed at minus 115 on the William Hill Sportsbook. Now, if you're probably like, why is Mike Trout listed at 149.5 when Tatis is 165.5? It's because the Angels don't have as good as a lineup. Mike Trout's a better hitter than Fernando Tatis. He is now. I don't think Fernando Tatis will ever be as good a hitter as Mike Trout. But Mike Trout doesn't have as much protection, so you got to keep that in mind. Now, with Mike Trout, he's averaged 179 hits per season. So obviously off the top, that's like, okay, why is this even a bet? Like we're stealing money from William Hill. They're smart though. He has not hit this total since 2017, but he has a healthy Shohei Ohtani right now who is mashing balls out of the yard. He got roughed up by the Dodgers the other night in their spring training game. I think he gave up 7 runs, but he is still hitting, and he's going to hit more this year. He's going to hit 5 days a week, allegedly. We're not going to treat him like, a baby. So he's going to hit. You got Anthony Rendon for the first time for a full 162 game slate. That's even more protection for Mike Trout. The bottom of the Angels lineup is very weak. It's very scary, but you know what? The top of the Angels lineup is pretty damn reputable, especially in the AL West, okay? Because Houston's got the best staff in the AL West pitching-wise, and I'm not super impressed with them. So, what do you think I'm going with for Mike Trout? Best player in baseball. Best player ever probably to play the game. He had a bad season last year. He finished 5th in the MVP race. What do you think I'm going? Over 149.5 for Mike Trout, baby. Lock it up. That's a lock. That one's a lock. If I'm confident about any one of these, it's Mike Trout going over 149.5 hits this year. Lock it up on the William Hill Sportsbook. Shout out William Hill for endorsing that section. Now let's go to the World Series predictions. guys. World Series predictions. I know the Dodgers. The Dodgers, guys. You think they're going to win the division? Do you think they're going to win the World Series? Maybe. They might. Who knows? I don't know. No team has ever gone back-to-back. No team has ever gone back-to-back. So right off the top, you got to be a little skeptical about that. History tends to repeat itself in all sports. So they got the Dodgers. Let me expand this for you guys. So they got the Dodgers listed at plus 350, the Yankees at plus 550, the Padres at plus 900, the Mets at plus 1,000, Braves at plus 1,000, White Sox plus 1,000. You can forget about the Mets, Braves, and White Sox. They are not going to do anything. Am I taking the Padres? No, I'm not. Am I taking the Dodgers? I just dropped the hat there because I have hat head. But I'm putting the hat back on because I have hat head. But I am taking the New York Yankees, the Savages in the Bronx. They are winning the World Series this year 100% of the way. They have not won a World Series since 2012. Or no, they have not been to the World Series in 12 years. My bad. They have not been to the World Series in 12 years. This drought is real in New York, and they need to figure it out. This is their year. This is the year the Savages get the job done. They beat the Dodgers in the World Series in an instant classic, 7 games. You heard it here first, folks. You're going to be seeing that again in the Bronx. Just wait. Mark my words. You're going to be seeing that at the end of 162. All right. So finally, Frankie Lindor wants more money. He's one of the best in baseball, obviously. He deserves more money than probably what the Mets are giving him. But what he's asking for is a little outrageous. So here's the deal. The Mets offered him $325 million for 10 years. That's a lot of money. That's a ton of money. But we got to be real. We got to think, okay, these guys aren't talking in, normal person money. He is worth more than $325 million. He has the right to ask for right to ask for more than $325 million. Tatis got $340 million. Okay? Tatis has never played a full 162-game season, so you got to think Francisco Lindor is worth more than Tatis for what he has done in the league. Lindor in his campaign, his party, his agent, has asked for $385 million. Allegedly. There have been some reports that he has asked for over $400 million for 12 years. Now, Lindor is going to be 28. 12 years, he's going to be 40. We've seen what guys do at 40 in the big leagues hitting the ball. It doesn't happen much. Guys can't really hit. So, of course, Steve Cohen doesn't want to give this guy 12 years for $400 million. I mean, that's unprecedented. And if Frankie Lindor thinks he's going to get $385 million in free agency, I think that's a little outrageous. I don't think he's going to get $385 million for 10 years in free agency. Now, Steve Cohen has said, we're done, $325 million. That's our final offer. Lindor has said, I'm not negotiating after opening day. Once opening day rolls around, I am done. I'm just going to play baseball this year, and I'm not worrying about a contract. He's going to be a free agent at the end of the year. So, it's currently close to 7 p.m. Eastern Time, New York's Eastern Time. So, Lindor and the Mets do not have a lot of time to get this deal done. Do I think they're going to get it done? Yes, I do. I do think they're going to get it done, but also part of me is like maybe not, because Steve Cohen is a new owner of this team, and he might say, you know what, 325 is my final deal. But Lindor is worth $350 million for 10 years. Anything over that I think is outrageous, but he is worth right now $350 million. So they need to get it done. Steve Cohen has been going off on Twitter, and he's been making this very public, which is probably a mistake. He doesn't even have a verified Twitter account, so a lot of people don't know this is going on if you're not following, baseball, social media. But he said there's no teasing going on. This is in response to some ones you can read here. There's no teasing going on. I have made a great offer. It does take 2 to tango. So he's making New Yorkers believe that Frankie Lindor does not want to stay in New York. But Frankie Lindor has said, I want to be a New York Met. I want to finish my career in New York. If they don't get a deal done, I hope they get a deal done, because you see that guy, you see him right there in the Mets uniform. He looks like he was meant for New York. But if they don't get a deal done, this is going to be very, very bad for both parties. It's not the way you want to start your career as a new owner in Steve Cohen. It's not the way you want to start your season as a promising team that could win, the NL pennant. It's not the way that you want to start the season. And for Frankie Lindor, if he doesn't sign, there are going to be those New Yorkers that say, hey, Frankie doesn't care about $325 million. If Frankie Lindor has a rough couple weeks to start the season, when they return to Citi Field on April 8th after their first two away series, I believe, when he returns to Citi Field and he is not hitting the ball, they are going to boo him out of New York, back to Cleveland. You don't experience the same boos in Cleveland, Frankie Lindor. So both these parties need to come together. They need to get a deal done. It shouldn't be $385 million. It shouldn't be $325 million. They need to meet in the middle. They need to get a deal done for 10 years for $350 million. Make both parties happy and get New York Mets baseball back to the promised land. Steve Cohen said he wants to win a championship in 5 years. This is the way to do it. You get Frankie Lindor right now. You missed on Trevor Bauer in the offseason. Okay, so what? This is a guy that you need to go out and get right now for the sake of this franchise, Steve Cohen. And Frankie Lindor, you need to be a little more realistic. Your agent needs to be a little more realistic and say $385 million is a little too much, okay? $350, 10 years, lock it up right now. Let's get Mets baseball back. Let's make it fun again. So that does it for tonight's show, guys. As you can see, right here, 2 more sleeps till opening day, till the first pitch is thrown. Between the Lines, we'll have a show for you guys on Thursday night at 6 p.m. We'll be talking about all the early games and previewing the night games and talking about all the news around the league. I'm so excited. Forget about 60-game seasons, people. Forget about all the COVID rule. I mean, there's some COVID rules and stuff, but forget about the 60-game season. We are back. 162. We got fans. Hell, the Texas Rangers got a full stadium on Thursday. Not saying that's good. Not making a political statement. But 162 games, full stadiums, partial stadiums. We got fans in the stands. It's going to be one hell of a year, guys. Remember to follow the BTL Baseball Show on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, at BTL Baseball Show. Follow me at Tanner Kern on Instagram, at Tanner Kern _ on Twitter, and connect with me. Ask me questions on social media. I'll play them on the show, answer them on the show. I love talking baseball, so anytime you guys reach out, I'm more than happy to respond. That does it for tonight's show. Happy Tuesday. Sleep well the next 2 nights, and I will see you guys on Thursday for another episode of Between the Lines. Let's go, baby. Almost opening day.
Thompson up there swinging. Back to throws. There's a left back. It's going to be, I believe, the Giants from the pennant. The Giants from the pennant. The Giants
Over
from
to
the
right field,
pennant.
scoring miles ahead of him. It's number 12 for Mandolin World Series.
Action. There's a hard drive. It's a deep right. And forget about it. It is gone. The ball game's over.
In the Los Angeles Bowl. Watson hits it high in the air. For the center fielder, Ken Landreau, this should do it. The Dodgers are the 1981 champions of baseball.
That number today with 3 hits. This could be 4. Back it goes. It's over. The Red Sox win, and they're moving on.
Putting his team ahead. The Dodgers, who hit 118 home runs during the regular year, have just hit their 16th home run of the championship series.